Hello there and welcome to what I painted this month, July 2017. Now, this video would have been here last week, but unfortunately the original audio file was one of the files that was eaten by my failing hard drive, which had to be replaced. So, as you can see, the Kharadron Overlords have taken a backseat again, this time to my balls, which have dominated the hobby table over the last few weeks. So as you admire some lovely images of my balls in all their painted glory, I'll give you some info on them and the painting process. The two units of balls in the middle are Halloween balls and Tough Nuts from Macrocosm Miniatures, just like my other balls. The Tough Nuts are the ones with the punk-like hairstyles and nose rings and so on, and of course the Halloween balls look very spooky, especially the pumpkin one. So the way these are done, I don't know if you can see in the original image, but you will see in pictures coming up, is that they're very, very reddy orange on top, kind of orangey on the sides, and then underneath blue. So the way that's done is by airbrushing orange directly onto the top of the miniature and only a little bit round the sides, not too much. And then a blue glaze is applied to the entire ball, which ties all the colours together and makes the underside that very, very light blue. After that, all the details are added, such as the eyes and the teeth, and the various little protrusions in purple and the hair in green. The hair was then washed with Tamiya clear green paint. There's nothing particularly crazy about the way the balls are painted, you'll have heard it all before if you've followed this series. Same goes for the snow bases, with the cork built up, painted in dark grey, bit of white dry brush on there, then the snow powder, which is applied on top of a mixture of PVA glue and white paint to stop it yellowing over time, as PVA can do. The goblin on the smaller base with the large ball is one of the Mantic Goblin War Machine crew from the big rock thrower or the sharp stick thrower. So with him on there, on that 50mm base, with the ball with its mouth open like that, I can either use it as a war trombone or Magua and the Juice. There's nothing particularly fancy about his paintwork, it's just orange, some dry brushing of white, Reikland flesh shade to tone down the brightness of the orange a bit, and then some metal with the old Agrax Earth shade over that, as usual. So I've now got enough for 2 regiments of more beasts, and they are quite a tasty unit in the Goblin army, so at some point soon I'm definitely going to try and squeeze some of them into my army. Not necessarily for any competitive edge, but these models are just too nice to not put in the army, I think, for any extended period of time. And speaking of nice models, we move on to the next piece, and that is this Goblin Doom Diver, which I'll be using as most likely a big rock thrower most of the time in my Goblin army. So I bought this on eBay. It didn't come with all the crew, so that's why I've added one of the generic Mantic War Machine crew members to the side of it there. And it's on a 60mm base, because any smaller a base and the actual Doom Diver himself would have been hanging off too far, I think. From the front you can see there's plenty of space, but if it turns around the other way then it's a bit cramped. The hook from the slingshot part of it was actually missing, so the rope is just attached directly to his groin, where there is a metal ring. In the close-up of the Doom Diver about to take flight, you can see that I've got a slightly different painting method for the Goblin skin now. Previously I just painted it in the Goblin Green, and then a dark wash, and then reapplied Goblin Green onto the raised areas. But now I've decided to cut out the middleman and just start off with a dark, kind of Dark Angels style green paint first, and then go for the Goblin Green on the raised areas. So it's one less painting stage and it looks very, very similar when it's finished. Almost identical, it's only when you zoom right in that you can really see. Plenty of orange on there. The crewman with the telescope. The only particularly fancy thing on there is perhaps the end of the telescope, the lens, which was painted in silver, and then a layer of Waystone Green, which is one of those Citadel technical gem paints. So I think that looks quite tasty. Tip when you're applying an all-metal model to a base like this, without using slotter bases or anything like that, and if you've got nothing down there that you're going to pin it into, which of course I could have done here, I could have put a couple of layers of cork and then pinned their feet into that, but instead I went with a layer of milliput on the wooden base itself, pressed the feet down into it a little bit, and then when it was almost dry, take them out of the little crevices that had been made for their feet, and then when it was fully dry, glued them back in again. So the holes are the perfect shape, so you've got a lot of surface area in contact with the milliput, so it's a very, very secure contact point for the glue. This is a particularly handy tip for heavy metal models. You could even combine this with pinning to make a really, really secure grip. So there we have it. More added to my orange goblin army. And that's not going to be the end of the army. I've got a couple of other things in the pipeline as well. But at the moment I'm actually painting some grot tanks. And I'd hope to have at least a few of those finished by the end of this month to show off. And then maybe I'll get back to the Kharadron Overlords again. I've also got some Dark Angels Deathwing Terminators on the table, but they're not an urgent priority because I've already got plenty of them. So we'll see. At the moment I try to have quite a few projects on the go at once, because I can become burnt out painting the same thing over and over and over again. So if I've got something a little bit different just behind the current project, then I can just push it to one side, bring that forward, and keep myself motivated. So let me know what you think of my balls, and I'll catch you next time. Ta-ta!